This tank is the AMX 13105. This is a French Tier 10 light tank. The map is Malinovka in encounter mode. I am working on a mission, which is LT-15, the Aggressive Recon Specialist, and I'm going to complete this mission in this game. I'm going to get 6,300 spotting damage plus additional damage. So the first thing that I did was I tried to spot some enemy tanks, which I obviously did. Unfortunately, I got spotted, so I have to retreat, and I'm trying to weave in between the buildings on my way back, trying to keep buildings behind me as much as possible. I did take a hit for 764 damage, but that's okay because I'm going to do very well in this game. And I've already gotten 1,600 damage on my first pass. So there's many different ways, you know, there's many different ways to approach this. I knew that ROM Panzerwagen was spotting me, so I knew that I was going to have a little bit of trouble doing a spotting run. So that's why I decided to sit in this position. And I also came out to this side to stay far away from him. So now that I think it's safe, I'm probably going to advance soon, unless I could do some damage to this guy. I'm up to 2,600 spotting damage. I had a hit on an Object 277 for 1,058 damage, which was a huge asset in this game. So obviously you can see I'm advancing in the lower area. And I'm notifying my allies the target that I'm planning to light up, which is the E0 area. Now, one thing you're going to notice, there's different ways to get out of, to return and retreat from spotting. And one way is to head in the direction that I'm heading. And the reason why it's good is because of the slope of the land, it's very difficult for the enemy team to hit you. If you go more on this side, on the other side of the houses, it's easier for enemy tanks to hit you. So it can be very safe to go this way, just stay low. And always stay surrounded by solid objects as much as possible. Score's 2-1. I'm up to 3,100 spotting damage, including some on that Rheinmetall Panzerwagen. I have the feeling he's going to be out of the game soon. Oh, he's lucky. Excuse me. It's too bad that this tank only has 3 rounds in it. I believe it used to have 4 rounds, but they nerfed it because they didn't want light tank players to be able to snipe. So they took away some of its firing capabilities. And they probably reduced its penetration as well. I'm really against making those types of changes to the game. People should be allowed to play tanks whatever the way they want to. Okay, so I'm up to 3,200 spotting damage. I'd love to shoot at those tanks. A lot of enemy tanks here. I once had a game where I spotted everybody on the enemy team. I think it was 14 tanks. And I was so close to them that the enemy team was spotted the whole game, and they were pinned down and they couldn't move, and we won like 15-0. And it was on Sand River. The video is on my my website. It was a great game. Spotting can give you a huge advantage in the game. So now one of the things that I'm noticing is that those tanks are being hit and I'm not getting spotting damage for them. Obviously it's because I'm not spotting them, but it defeats the purpose of me trying to complete this mission. I only need one more mission to win an Object 260. I have to complete MT-15, and then I'm done. So one of the concerns that I had was that Object 268 was right in front of me, but I wasn't spotting him. Now I am. Luckily, everything worked out, but there was a little gap of time I was concerned. He just took a hit, and I did not get any spotting damage from it. He just took another hit, and I did not get spotting damage from it. I could hit him right in the rear. Okay, so now I'm getting the spotting damage on that tank. Now remember, there's an enemy tank right in front of me, which is a T-110E3. He disappeared for a moment, but now he's back. I could easily take him out of the game. And you notice he disappeared again. I'm up to 4,100 spotting damage. Now would be a great time to fire. And he's out of the game. Up to 4,400 spotting damage, 4,700 combined. So now we only got 5 tanks left in the game. And I was concerned here. I thought that maybe I wasn't going to make it, so I had to rush to get as much damage as I could. I'm up to 5,100 combined. I need 8,000. Too slow to turn around. Should have turned around a lot faster. I might have been able... Oh, I wasn't reloaded. Up to 5,500. I'm up to 5,900. Score is 12-9. I got 4,400 spotting damage. I'm going to get 6,300 total, so there's a bit more yet to come. And you'll notice I'm repositioning so I can hit that Type 5 heavy. And surely we're going to win this game. That was an amazing camera angle right there. Ouch. Okay, so that's the end of the game for me. The score is 13-10. The in-game stats currently show 2,100 damage, 5,200 spotting damage, 7,400 combined, but I did pull in an extra 1,100 spotting damage, so I actually got up to 8,500 combined, which allowed me to complete the mission, LT-15, the Aggressive Recon Specialist. So it is possible to do it in encounter mode. You might think you have to be able to passively scout on this map, but it's not true. I was able to do it by actively scouting. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. This tank is the AMX 13105. This is a French Tier 10 light tank, and the map is Studzianki. So I haven't played a lot on this map. I'm starting to learn various positions and tactics. And one of the things that I do when I play light tanks is I rush out to these bushes over here in the middle of the map. Some of the things that I've learned is that it is very difficult. The chances of being spotted making it to these bushes are very high. Number two, usually if I don't go to the enemy side, I usually make it to the bushes. And then what you can do is you can wait until later, like a minute into the game, and then cross over into the enemy side. And the other thing is, obviously, if you get spotted, you want to go into the lower area until you become unspotted. And then you want to slowly go into a position. What you can do is you can go up and go down and see if you get spotted, and if you don't, then you go back up. Something changed on my screen. It's not showing the hit point bars. So it's... my settings somehow changed without me knowing. Oh yeah, there's a lot of weird things going on here. It's not showing the damage that I have for the game. Okay, I know it's going to be 4,900 damage, and I know I'm going to get 4 kills. So there's something wrong with my settings. Okay, so I've done a lot of spotting damage. We're just going to have to Okay, well, actually, it says 3,182 spotting damage in the first minute and a half. That's pretty good. I'm also working on a mission, and the mission is LT-15, the Aggressive Recon Specialist, to do 8,000 spotting damage and damage. And I did complete the mission, but it wasn't in this game. I'm going to screw it up at the end of the game. I'm going to make a classic mistake. If I had to do it over again, I would have probably succeeded, but we'll explain it when we get there. So in this particular map, this is another corridor map. Most of the tanks are going to be in a corridor-like position. There's usually tanks that are sniping where the FV4005 is, which is right over there in that position. There's usually going to be tanks over there. So there's going to be some tanks that can be hit by any direction. Most of the tanks are going to be behind a building somewhere. Here's obviously an exception where we've got some enemy tanks that are out in the open, but the problem is they're advancing early, and normally the enemy tanks do not advance early, so normally they're not there to be shot at. Usually they're safe and sound, hidden behind something. So because I am working on the spotting mission, I was reluctant to do sniping. But if you set yourself up properly, you can do sniping on this map with those tanks that are there in the center. Score is 3-0, and I'm up to 3,600 spotting damage. I am going to make a mistake later in the game, which is I like to snipe now. Before, I used to only do spotting, and I would hold my fire. But now, if I see a shot, I try to snipe as much as I can. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get spotted, and I'm going to be in the wrong position, and we'll talk about what I could have done to fix it. You can see that if I had gone down earlier, I would have avoided taking some damage. I lost half my hit points because of that shot. Going back into my spotting position. Score is 4-0. I thought I only got hit once, and it says 335 damage. I don't know how I lost so much damage. I don't know. Maybe I got hit at the beginning of the game and I forgot about it. Scores 4-1. Just got some more spotting. So I got my first kill. The enemy is going to win in the north. They're playing very aggressively in the north, and at least that's my recollection as to what's going to happen. This, I had the opportunity of getting 8,000 spotting damage in this game, but I am going to blow it, unfortunately. But I'm going to end up with 5,000 spotting damage. That's pretty good. Score 6-2. Now the score is 7-2. Okay, I'm confusing this with a different game. So looks like we're going to have a victory, easy victory here. So I'm up to 3 kills and 4,800 spotting damage. $5,200 spotting damage. 5,400 spotting damage. And that's the last tank in the game. And that's the game. So the score was 15-2. I got 5,894. Wow, that was a lot more spotting damage. I wrote the wrong number down. And I got 4 kills. I don't think you're going to get this every game, but if you're on a team that's winning, you can definitely get those spotting damage. Okay, let's move on to the next video. This tank is the AMX 13105. This is a French Tier 10 light tank, and the map is Mines. I am going to get 4 kills in this game, and I'm going to do 3,100 spotting damage. Now, you might think that it's hard to get a lot of spotting damage on this map. Not impossible, and it depends on where you're playing also. I always play in the same few positions, and there's various reasons why. I like to go to the position I'm going to because it's easy to set up flanking, which means hitting the side armor of the enemy tanks. Hitting the weaker side armor is better when you have a lower penetration gun. You can see that I didn't go to the normal position. There's a TVP, which is to the right on the mini-map, who is going to the position that I normally play. But I wanted to play this position today to see if I'd be able to snipe from behind the bushes, get some spotting, etc. So I've already got some spotting damage, 220. But as you can see, it was very easy to get to the spot. I was spotted here, but I was able to hide, become unspotted, and then sneak in. You'll notice if you look in the southwest that there's an RU-251, and the RU-251 is able to snipe at tanks on my team that are on the hill. So the Conqueror just took 4 hits in rapid succession. I'm guessing that it all came from that TVP. The good thing about playing this way is that the TVP can set up behind the bush where he's not going to get spotted. I can do the spotting for him, and he doesn't have to worry about him being spotted. So that's the great thing about me being in this position right here. If you're playing on a team with a platoon or a clan battle or something like that, that's a good way to set up. We do have a T-95 that is also setting up on that hill, which is over there behind us. You can see that the Conqueror is afraid to move forward. He's falling back. And if he's falling back, he can't fire his gun at anyone. He's taking a lot of shots right now. It's got to be that TVP. Now, you don't want to fire over here, because if you fire, there are tanks that are up there on that hill area that will shoot back at you, and I won't be able to hide. Actually, maybe I would be able to hide. It would be very difficult. Oh, no, maybe not. The VK is over there. So if I were to get spotted, I'd have to run. Unless that VK gets killed. So I'm up to 2,340 spotting damage, which is pretty good. It's only been 3 minutes in the game. The VK is starting to make a move towards the TVP and the T-95. I'm keeping an eye on him. He's obviously not going to make it. He's out of the game. T-95 took him out of the game. So now if I wanted to, I could spot and I'd be able to hide while I become unspotted. Got 2,300 spotting damage still. We control a good portion on the map. Yep, there he is. He's out of the game. So you can see I got 2 kills. I'm up to 700 damage and 2,300 spotting damage. Now, what I usually do is I advance towards the hill. You got to do it with as much speed as possible. Get close to that hill where that IS-7 is and get to where those buildings are. You don't want to sit here. It is possible you could have some action over here. But if you could get next to that hill, the A6 area, there's a lot of targets that you'll be able to shoot at from that area. So the grill was taken out of the game. The score is 7-2. We're doing really good in this game. A lot of the tanks that died because I was spotting them, or the two that I killed. You're talking about the VK, the Grill, the Conqueror, the E75. Okay, so here's where I'm making my advance towards the enemy position. They won't really be able to do anything, but you got to be careful because a tank like an IS-7 will come after me. He's heavily armored. He'll have no problem coming after me, so I have to keep an eye on him. Trying to line up a shot on that tank, but I don't have the gun elevation. You can see that we do control most of the map at this point. Got a lucky shot. Scores 13-4. I'm up to 3,100 spotting damage. The IS-7 is still in the game, and the SPG is still in the game. And that was 4 kills for me. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to reload in time to get this IS-7. I got 1,500 damage and 3,100 spotting damage. But the IS-7 doesn't know that I'm not reloaded, which is why I went up above. And he's out of the game. This tank is the E25. This is a German Tier 7 tank destroyer, and the map is Malinovka. I'm going to get 4,100 spotting damage in this game. Now, one of the things you're going to notice, if you look at the mini-map, I don't have the full spotting range on this tank, and I'm doing my standard maneuver, which is to head out to this little area over here, spot as much as I can, then go down into the dip. I wasn't spotted. So this way, if I get spotted, I have an escape route. So I decided to start out in this little bush over here. It's possible that I might be able to sit here for some time, but I really want a closer position. I want to be able to spot everybody on the enemy team as well as possible. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to be watching that Hellcat and any other tanks that go up into that ridge over there to make sure that there's no one there. We want to make sure that they don't have spotting ability. If they don't have spotting ability, then it's safer for me to move around the map. So you can see that IKV is almost taken out of the game. And yeah, that took him out of the game. Okay, so I already got 1,368 spotting damage. And there's no way to know for sure if there's someone there. You have to take a guess at it. We got this T50-2 heading over there, and he's going to pretty much verify whether or not there's somebody hiding there. So it looks like there's no enemy tanks there spotting, so I can move closer. And that T50-2 was killed by the enemy SPG. You can see that a tree fell down in the middle of the screen, so there is another tank out there. I got 2,100 spotting damage so far. There goes another tank, 2,600 spotting damage. So that was a couple of tanks that died because of my spotting. We do have enemy tanks that are nearby, so I do have to be careful. I know I could easily get spotted. And he's out of the game. So I was able to cause another tank to die. I'm up to 3,197 spotting damage. And one of the things that you can see is that the E25 is a good tank for spotting with. It has a low profile. It has pretty good camo. It's definitely got good speed. And the gun's pretty good. The gun is good against many tanks, especially if you hit them on the side or the rear. Score 6-1. A lot of those kills were because of me. So right now I can't really move. I have to wait for my allies. Well, obviously I could move, but the smart thing is for me to stay where I am and let my allies do as much damage and killing as they can. The score is 8-3. I want to continue to spot for my team. It looked like the E-25 had moved enough far away that I could advance a little bit more, and now he's out of the game. Very easy to snipe on that tank. And I wasn't spotted. Score is 10-5. Obviously, there's some tanks here I could snipe at. I'm up to 3,476 spotting damage and 324 damage. When people ping the mini-map to signify where an enemy tank might be, they're not always correct. You know, sometimes people ping the mini-map because they want the tank to be there, but not because they know that a tank is there. I got 462 damage, 3698 spotting damage, and there's only one tank left in the game. Okay, that's the game. So again, I got 4,100 spotting damage. I got around 500 damage and 1 kill. This tank is the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen. This is a German Tier 10 light tank. The map is Highway. I am going to get 4,000 spotting damage in this game. What I usually do is I head out to locate a bush over here, usually a little bit over the road surface. You want to stay out of the water as much as possible. Sometimes I get spotted along the way. I usually come out to this area since the last map revision. And you want to get in that bush as quickly as possible and turn those binocs on. You will spot tanks over here. The problem is that your allies won't be able to shoot at most of them. A lot of them will either be out of your allies' range, or they'll, because it's a corridor map, they'll be behind the little hills and buildings and things like that. So I am worried about the FV-4202 behind me. I don't want to get spotted, and I want to have a safe escape route. In terms of this tank, this was, I believe, one of my first Tier 10 tanks. I just started getting Tier 10 light tanks kind of recently, so I haven't played many games with them. And I do like it. I love the RU-251 more. However, so far, I like the AMX-13105 the most. And unfortunately, the AMX-13105 doesn't have the larger spotting range, but this one does. This one has a larger diameter spotting range, maybe 40 meters or so more than the AMX-13105. It's a fast tank, so if you're trying to earn bonds, you can earn a lot of bonds with this by getting those scout medals, by scouting lots of tanks at the beginning of the game. The gun's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's an amazing gun, but it seems like it does well. So I'm up to 1,200 spotting damage. I know that there's enemy tanks nearby. There's a Progetto behind me that I have to worry about. And the tanks are relatively close to me. But you'll notice that the enemy was unable to advance to the northwest. It's a position that they like to go to, and it's part of the strategy that the South team uses to advance in the game, and I've prevented them from using that strategy. So I've really pinned them down. The good news is I have spotted quite a few tanks. My only concern is, why aren't my allies shooting at these tanks and damaging them? Now, there is an enemy light tank that was spotted that could potentially locate me, so I have to keep my eye on him. You always have to know what your escape route is going to be, have an enemy to point your gun at, keep an eye on the mini-map and what's happening. Be ready to run on short notice. So I got up to 1450 spotting damage. You can see that the Rheinmetall Panzer wagon is heading north. Scores only 1-1, so there's been damage done, but the tanks are still in the game. It's too bad that my allies don't have better positioning. When I play this game, I try to get as close to the enemy as possible, as close as is safe, for various reasons. One of the reasons why is for spotting. Another reason why is to have the ability to snipe and to control the best territory. Controlling the most territory is a strategy that works in this game. Now, even though the Rheinmetall was able to make it to the northwest, I don't think his allies are going to make it very easily. So we got an M46KR, which is advancing along that way. In this position, you do have to have a strategy. How am I going to spot the Conway and the Charioteer? There's various techniques that I can use. One that I can do is I could just run up there and I can proximity spot them real quick and hope my allies shoot at them, but many of my allies are out of range. So if you look at the mini-map, you'll see that I have an allied Progetto 46 and the SU 130 PM and the Scorpion G. If they're outside of your yellow circle, then you're outside of their yellow circle. So that means that the Conway and the Charioteer are outside of the sniping range of most of my allies, so it doesn't make any sense to spot them at this time. I think only the Progetto might be able to hit them, so somehow I got spotted. Scores 5-3, and I got 3,500 spotting damage. So looks like I was lucky to get away. Normally I would not have gone this way. Normally I would have headed towards the bridge area. And I never play up over here. When I first started playing the game, I used to come up to this corner, but I got bored of it quickly. And I don't like to play the positions that everyone else plays. I like to have a little bit more excitement and adventure. I look for my own unique positions to play in. Scores 9-4. I got 3,500 spotting damage. I wonder where that M46 went. Well, it looks like he must have gotten away somehow. This tank does go very fast. I saw it go at 74 kilometers. It's pretty fast. If you like a fast tank like the RU-251, I definitely recommend this tank. You'll notice that I'm staying in the lower area for protection. Let my allies do as much damage to him as possible. Scores 12-4. I'm up to 4,000 spotting damage. Not heading directly towards the SPG, going perpendicular towards him so that he can't aim at me easily. Okay, so the score is 13-5. I did end up with 4,000 spotting damage and 560 damage, and looks like we're going to win this game. Let's move on to the next video.